Hello.
Did you not realize it was on?
No, I did. I was just being overly dramatic.
Oh, okay.
Kimbra Schaefer is now live. Is live now. Is now live now.
Which one does it say? I didn't get that notification.
It
Probably
says
because that's me.
It says Kimbra Schaefer is live now. There's two people watching. One of them is JT.
Yes, one of them is JT.
And
three. It says 3 people now.
Oh no, it's 3. 3 fantastic cruising.
JT
viewers.
said, "Hey, that's not bourbon."
No, I don't have any points left today, so no bourbon tonight. We had too many points. We probably are okay because we had a pretty physically active day, but want to be safe. Oh, look, Kimbra, what an amazing background. What can I say?
You can say exactly what you said again and again and again.
Welcome, Sean and Alana. If Alana is there, it's funny. We always have these like people always assume when they see Fantastic Studios show up in a chat that it's me, and usually they're right. But
right,
but
a
lot of times you're there too.
I'm sitting there. I'm just not like controlling the chat.
Yeah, and I do the same thing. Like I don't know, I don't know if we have all our couples in the house or if it's one.
That's a good point. It could be JT and Jennifer.
It could be. It could be Jennifer.
It could be.
It's probably.
However, it says that's JT. Not bourbon, so it is.
It's probably
JT.
I think that's a safe bet, and it's probably. Oh, don't worry, we're going to get to that because we're going to make it official. Bring him up and let people know, and then we'll. Here's what we're going to do, Sean, and I'm going to repeat this in a few minutes, probably when we get more people in here. But I'm going to show everybody what you're talking about, and then during the opening credits, I am going to place said thing somewhere here, and then people can look for that. Hey, Mom, seems like I just talked to you. That's you did. Almost, not exactly just, but nearly just.
A bit ago, we did not eat dinner.
No, we didn't.
But you know what? I'm not really hungry.
I'm not either. I mean, we ate a late lunch.
I should probably grab that stuff and put it in the fridge.
Stuff? Oh yeah, there's chicken in the sink thawing out. Yeah, that's. Eat it. No, I don't think so. Maybe some grapes, something like that. Anyway, welcome. We got 6 people here now. Awesome. Great to see everybody. Bon Beanie. And tonight's going to be fun because we are going to be interacting with you guys tonight through the whole episode, not just before and after. And we're going to be looking for feedback. So basically, we're going to be asking some questions and we're going to be looking for you guys to give us answers to help new cruisers or even experienced cruisers or slightly experienced cruisers. It can be helpful to anyone. Who knows? But I know we've got a lot of experience with cruising that usually hangs out with us. So there we go. Hey, Rafael Zingano, speaking of experience in cruising, how are you guys doing? Welcome to the pre-show podcast, the pre-show live podcast. We will go start the actual official show in about 12 minutes. And look at that. All the way from the Aurora Borealis, Stacy.
I didn't think they were going to be able to join, except they're just popping in.
Just checking in from Ketchikan, Alaska. Well, thank you for stopping in.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of great views up there. They sent us that little seal video. That was pretty awesome.
So cute. Was that a baby seal? I mean, it looked like a baby to me, but maybe it was just a really small one.
Yeah, I think that was a baby with the spots and stuff.
I mean, it looked like a
I think
baby.
that's like I don't know if it's a harbor seal or a harp seal. Harp seals are white and fluffy, but I think only for the first few days or something. Hey, we got Kevin Counts and Travel Adventures with Eric B. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bon Beanie, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see all of you experienced cruisers.
There's a question there. You just said hello. You need to actually answer the question.
Oh, well, first, glad to see all you experienced cruisers because we are going to be asking you guys to help us out answering some questions for new cruisers. But aren't you on an hour early? So we used to go on at 9 o'clock, and then we kept running over through the Down Under Cruisers Live. And
let's back up a little bit. We started the podcast at 9. We logged in about 8:45.
Correct.
Just to be clear.
Right. So we wanted to try and finish before the Down Under Cruisers live stream, which comes on at 10 Eastern, because we like to watch it. And you know, one of us talks too much, so we end up going over all the time. And so we pushed it back a half an hour. Also, we have people like JT who are sound asleep usually by 7 p.m. So we wanted to make sure that he could give that extra oomph if he wanted to and stay up and a little bit later and check it out without too much sacrifice there. But no, the earlier time is we just started that probably about a month ago, and I think it's working out pretty well for us.
Oh, Eric's first cruise will be on October 15th with everyone. So this is actually a great episode for you because it's all about helping out new cruisers.
Yes, that is exactly it. And I'll tell you what happened. It's 4:20 p.m. in Alaska. I'll tell you what happened. We have the new recipients, I should say, that are going on our group cruise from Helping Hands for Cruising. Helping Hands for Cruising. And so we were talking to them because they had questions, as people do when they're new to cruising. And they even had a suggestion, which was, hey, why don't you guys do some videos or episodes about stuff that new cruisers would want to know? And we thought that's a great idea. And we are actually going to make, I think, some videos. That's the goal, is to make some videos for new cruisers, which, you know, I did that a long time ago, but that's a long time ago. And some of those don't exist anymore on the internet. So we're going to redo them.
Make like a little new cruiser series.
But we thought a great way to start that would be to do it in the podcast and get all of the wealth of experience and information from you guys. And I just realized my list of questions is on my iPad here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share.
Hey, look at that. It is the Tony Dials.
Tony dialing it in.
And
welcome, my friend.
Gina has popped in as well. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is exciting.
I almost said hello from Ketchikan, but I'm not in Ketchikan.
No.
But Gina and Stacy are in Ketchikan.
Right.
Welcome aboard. All right, let me see. Let me just do a little behind the scenes stuff here.
They are 4 hours behind us in Alaska.
Oh, okay. That's not as bad as Australia, but you know. All right, I am sharing this note with you.
Oh, so I get to
make it easier.
That's probably a good idea.
Did it go through? It's my screen is in a weird state of mind.
Yes.
Here. Okay.
Did you you didn't turn those into things?
No, you can if you want.
Because we're not doing it in this order, are we?
We don't have to. So my mom is asking Stacy. We've got the chat asking. Well, that happens in the chat. Have you seen any bears or whales yet? So Stacy and Gina, if you guys are still on, if you could answer that question, have you seen any bears or whales thus far in your adventures?
And JT says, does Alaska partake in daylight savings?
Oh, that's another good question. It's the pre-show Alaska special. Does Alaska partake in daylight savings?
And Sean thinks that he is advanced.
How would that even work, since they have like half the year when it's light out? Yes, Sean. Alana is advanced.
My Coke is almost gone.
Well, there's a whole refrigerator full of them.
I should probably drink water.
You probably should, but I'm not one to tell you that. So Gina is saying we saw whales, no bears here, but we saw a bear in MN, that's Minnesota, on the way to the airport.
Cool.
Which is where they left from, obviously. I guess that goes without saying there.
There's James. Hello, James.
Hey, James, we were just talking about you because you gave us the idea for this episode, or this episode is going to spark off.
This is our research gathering.
Yes.
For our mini series that will hopefully be happening.
Yes. Thank you for that inspiration. We are planning on doing some videos, like recorded videos as well, that are going to be tailored to individual topics of the questions you hear here and much more. I think that's the plan. We'll see if it happens, if we can actually do that, which is a challenge. It's always a challenge, right?
You read that?
I love you too, Ma Kimbra.
No. Kimbra.
Oh, I see what you're there. I thought he was talking to my mom. I'm like, what? I see what you're doing.
It looks like Gina and Stacy have also seen sea lions and a seal.
Oh, sea lions too? I missed. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sea lions and a seal. That's cool. I don't know. What would you rather see? Sea lions or seals? If you could only see one.
Sea lions are better.
See, I was going to say seals. I was going seals. You're like sea lions? The reason is I've seen a lot. I've never seen a sea lion in person. Well, in their natural environment in person. But I have seen a lot of them in like aquariums and zoos and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen a few seals, but not that many. So for me, I think that's why I'd say seals.
So if you're going based on that, then I guess, yeah. But I personally think sea lions are better than seals.
Wow. That's like, man, they're better than, really?
I mean, they like can walk
sea
up on their front
Than
flippers.
seals.
And seals just flop around.
Wow. What do you got against flopping around?
They're more advanced, like Sean.
Wow. No. That is, I don't like where this conversation is going at all. Hey, MGM Travel. Welcome on board, Bombini. Look, this is a pop of the famous and very missed crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin. Crocodile hunter, wasn't that his thing? Crikey! And we're gonna play a game from now on in our podcast. This one will be a little different because I had to show you him. This is with help from our down under friend Sean, helped us come up with this idea. But what's going to happen is he's going to be hidden somewhere in this amazing background. And whenever we start our episodes, your job is going to be to find him. What are we going to call it? You said Hunt for the Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay. So Hunt for...
What do you think?
I mean, I got nothing better.
Okay.
Hunt for the... His head moves. Do they? I guess all the pops
do that.
So obviously he's not hidden tonight yet, but when we run our credits, I'm going to be hiding him somewhere up there. It may not be that well hidden tonight, but we'll see. And then your job is going to be to find that. Hunt the Hunter. Hunt just is so... I know he called himself the Crocodile Hunter, but
like
it seems...
scavenger hunt.
Right. I know, but like it just seems so non Steve Irwin because he was not hunting anything.
Well,
like he was all about conservation. And anyway,
we can try and come up with something else.
No, I mean it was his thing. It was his title of his show. Maybe hunt. Does hunt mean something? Do people hunt a lot in Australia? Maybe it's not a big thing to hunt. What do you hunt in Australia? Wombats, kangaroos? I don't know. Koalas, drop bears. What do you hunt in Australia? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Okay.
So for those of you that are new or not new, or just like listening to us talk, so you're here, or you're watching this in the future, normally what we do is we start the podcast section. Where's Steve? I guess
Steve?
That could work.
Crikey, where's Steve?
We start the podcast portion and we go for approximately an hour with the podcast portion. Then we roll the credits and we chit chat for everyone again. However, tonight is going to be a lot of audience participation. We are trying to get some tips, ideas, stuff from everyone else for new cruisers.
Yes, and we firmly believe that multiple brains are usually more powerful than two.
Yeah.
If they're human. Because we're more advanced. I don't believe that.
Oh, did you see that? Kimbra. Did you see this one?
Kimbra, you and us will be dining very well on the cruise.
Because I said that sea lions were more advanced, like Sean.
Oh.
Because Sean said that he was more advanced.
Pinkies up, Sean. Pinkies up. All right. Are we ready to roll this thing?
Sure.
Where's he going to be? Crikey. What do we say? Where are you going to find him today? Where are you going to look today? Where's Steve?
Come with me, we're going on a Fintastic Cruise. Pick your destination with news, tips, and reviews. But here is an item you might not have thought of. All of the things under the water. Nature surrounds us with elegant features. You can't go on a cruise and not see the creatures. So let's make some magic, let's get ecstatic. Instantly classic, maybe romantic. The wildlife around you, cinematic on your Fintastic Cruise.
Bonbini, thank you for joining us on another episode of Fintastic Cruising. She is Kimbra.
And that guy's Matt.
Wow, we did that pretty well. We didn't even plan it. And we're going to have fun tonight because we're going to do a lot of audience participation. But don't worry if you are the sort that only listens to this as an audio podcast in the future, because we're going to be getting tips and tricks and just advice and opinions on cruising. And these are questions that are going to be tailored really towards new or new-ish cruisers, people that haven't cruised or haven't cruised very much. And they might answer some questions that you have. They might give you some tips that you hadn't thought of. And, I'm thinking we might learn stuff tonight as well. So before we do that, though.
Yeah.
You got any news?
I mean, I don't have news.
Well, news. You got some news?
I have
a cruise.
I have a cruise.
You got some cruise news?
Oh, actually, I do have some news if you want to talk about that.
Oh, you want to talk about that?
We can talk about that. Let's talk about this first, though.
Okay, yeah. What is that?
So this is the Fintastic group cruise that's happening in March of next year, 2023.
Yes.
And we have some amazing people going on this cruise. And I'm shocked that we have, our people just keep booking, which is amazing.
They like us. They really like us.
It's funny because
or they want to go on a cruise.
When we decided to do this, we were like, I don't know if we're going to meet that minimum to get a group, but let's try it.
8 cabins?
8 cabins.
8 cabins for the group to get the perks,
And we've done it. We've surpassed it. And there's more people that have shown interest. So I'm ready for them to all book too.
We have almost tripled the required number of cabins.
Not really.
No, we haven't. I did the same thing I did on Lovey's show. I just took the number of people and turned it into cabins. We have almost doubled the number of cabins required. It's going to be a fun cruise. It's going to Grand Cayman. It's going to Roatan in Honduras. It's going to Belize in Belize. It's going to Cozumel in Quintana Roo, Mexico. I love the words. I know what I say. Anyway, join us, fintastictravel@gmail.com. It's not too late to book your cabin today.
And we want you to join us.
We do. Join us if you're an Evil Dead fan, or join us if you're not. So,
yeah.
And what did you want to talk about? Another cruise?
We can talk about another cruise.
So, surprise, we booked a cruise, and it's actually in less than 50 days now.
I think we're at 49.
49 days away. We are going to try something crazy. We're going on an MSC ship that is going to be one of the, I think it's the newest current MSC ship, the MSC Seashore. MSC sells seashells on the seashore, and it's leaving out of Miami, and it's going to, that was for you, Tony Dials, and it's going to not in this order, maybe in this order, Ochos Rios, Jamaica. It's going to Cozumel. It's going to
Grand Cayman,
and it's going to MSC's private island, Ocean Cay. And so we're excited about this ship. It looks really cool. This kind of cruise kind of fell in our lap, so to speak, and we're pretty stoked about it. And we don't know really much about MSC. So here's a little ask for you guys out there. If any of you are MSCers or have done MSC, you know a lot about MSC, please give us a little contact at fantasticcruising@gmail.com, because we might be interested in having you on the podcast to answer our questions, because MSC is confusing. Like, you know, like I've covered it before and stuff, but I've got questions.
Yeah.
About MSC. It's so different than other cruise lines.
Really, I've kind of like avoided, like I really want to go on MSC and I've wanted to, but I've kind of like avoided it because I know it's totally different and I haven't been willing to like totally dive in.
Well, you'll avoid it no longer, because
so I'm really excited to go on it, so that so then I'll just know the things.
Hey, Mike Lovelace, thank you for having me on the podcast with you and Anthony.
He doesn't do a podcast, Matt.
Everything's a podcast, Kimbra.
Apparently.
On your YouTube live last night, that was a lot of fun. Go check out Lovey's Fat Life. Lots of great videos over there and lots of fun lives over there as well.
Oh, Todd has made it after his 16-mile bike ride.
Todd, it's a good thing that you can't hear you breathing heavily and typing. That might have come out different than I intended it, because you just rode a bunch of miles on a bicycle or something, right?
Yeah, what did I say earlier that was like weird?
You say a lot of weird things. Okay. I have no idea.
All right.
Anyway, one other thing to just tell you guys about before we get into these questions, and that is that I started a new YouTube channel. It is not a cruising channel. It is called Draw with Matt, and it is basically me drawing. And there'll be lives, there'll be tutorials, there'll be just listen to me chat about whatever I want to talk about, I guess, and then draw stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. We can maybe let me see if I can put the link to it in the chat. See if I can figure this out. Nope.
That's not a touch screen.
That's not a touch screen, Matt. New computer. Sorry. All right, there we go. Look at that. It works when you don't touch the non-touch screen. But anyway, go over, consider subscribing if you want to hang out with me while I draw or stuff like that. It would be very much appreciated. And at the end of this episode, after the credits roll, I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen is I'm going to do a little quick drawing if I get the technology to work on the fly. So it's a little bit of an experiment as well. Anyway, that's my little plug for that. And we can get going now on the stuff and things.
Todd said he's got his crayon attached to his mouse, so he's ready to draw.
Perfect. I remember the days when we would draw with mice, but man, they squeaked all the time and they poop a lot. Bump.
No. All right. What do we got here?
I don't know. You go first.
Oh, I've got to pull it up.
So yeah. So we're going to ask the questions. You guys give us your answers in the chat, and we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it.
All right. I'm just going to start at the top for now, and then we can start jumping around.
It's a good place to start.
Is that good?
Yep.
Okay, so participation is required. No, it's not required, but it is much appreciated. So what was one thing you were worried about the first time you cruised?
Oh, something that you were like, oh, I'm really worried about this the first time you cruised. I mean, maybe you had more than one thing you were worried about, but was the main thing you were like kind of stressing out about in your first cruise? What was yours?
I don't know.
You weren't worried about anything? You're like, I'm Kimbra, and I'm like totally stress-free.
I think probably missing the ship.
Like initially or at a port?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, look at today.
You cruise out of Tampa, right?
Right, but look at
where
today.
You work?
Look at today at Egmont Key. Like, we jumped out of the water and rushed back so that we wouldn't miss our boat.
Yes, we did.
That's what I do. I whatever. I have this panic where I'm like, well, we have to make sure that we're here by this time or this or this. So
yeah. I think mine was, I was worried I was going to get nickeled and dimed to death. I was worried about hidden charges that I wouldn't know about that would make me irritated, and that really didn't happen. What are people saying?
Seasickness. Jennifer was worried she might get sick.
So that's a predominant thing.
James is concerned that they're going to not be on time.
Yeah. Kevin booked our cruise less than 1 week in advance, so we didn't have time to be worried about anything. So follow up to that, was seasickness an issue for you guys? That said seasickness. Do you have problems with that? Was it all worry for naught, or do you have to take, precautions? Is it something that challenges you? Let us know, and I will look for the next question here.
I know my mom just recently went on that small cruise, and spoiler, there's the word that I was looking for. We are going to actually have her on sometime in the next few weeks or so.
Now she has to come on.
She's got a very busy schedule, so we've rescheduled once. So hopefully our new date works out with her very busy life. But she's going to, of course, come talk about that cruise. But she and my stepdad were very, very concerned about seasickness.
And they were on a boat. It was almost a boat.
So they got the patches and everything, and she said that they were perfectly fine and
that's
didn't
what my
need
mom
it.
says too. She says wore a patch, was fine, and JT's given some good advice here. He says just remember ship time isn't usually the same as it is in port. So if you're crossing to a different time zone, then like for example, James, and you'll be on our cruise, we'll go to Cozumel and Belize and Roatan, and those are all in the central time zone, whereas the ship will stay in the eastern time zone. So a good way to get around that is just to have a watch that doesn't automatically set, or make sure if you're using your phone that you set the settings so that it doesn't change on you, that kind of thing. Mike says, I still take motion pills a couple of days in advance and a couple of days in the first couple of days of the cruise. And JT says Jen did get sick, but she was up in the bow. So, okay. All right. But she cruises
but
a lot.
She still cruises. So obviously it doesn't ruin it for her.
She's gotten over it. All right. Here's the next. I'm just going to go with the next thing. It says, what is one packing tip you wish you would have known prior to your first cruise? Or just one packing tip that you think is what's a good packing tip? What is a good packing tip?
Todd said he was afraid his family would gently help him overboard.
That's a very specific concern, though, for you, Todd. What is one packing tip that you would like to share? Do you have a packing tip you want to share?
My packing tip is if you're going to take soda or wine with you, put it in your carry-on, not your checked luggage.
That's good. I like that.
And I remember that because when our friends Ashley and Josh came down to cruise and we took them over to the port to head out, Ashley had only cruised once before with me, and Josh had never cruised before, and they put their stuff in their checked baggage, and it was confiscated. We
didn't need to tell them.
I feel horrible that I didn't tell them. They didn't have their wine.
Right.
That we had gotten while they were down visiting. I felt horrible. So that is my biggest tip is carry that stuff on.
Todd is saying, don't pack too much. Mike is saying, quit overpacking. My mom is saying packing cubes work great. Yep, packing cubes. I am a big fan of packing cubes. Let's see. JT is saying, oh, if you do get sick, go to a bar and get a ginger ale and some bitters. It will settle your stomach. Okay, good advice. Good advice. And Sean is saying ship time is the most important. When we cruised, our phone was set to automatically change time. We suddenly found our phones set to Seattle time. We were going to New Zealand. Okay, that's interesting. And then Kevin says we always bring Euro adapters so we can utilize all of the plugs. Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. JT says roll up your clothes. It takes less room. Yeah. And then Eric is saying, so is
it one wine or one champagne?
It's
yes.
One
yes.
of either.
So you can bring on
per person
one bottle
over
per person each of a 750 milliliter of wine or champagne.
Yep.
Sealed bottle. It cannot be an open bottle.
My tip for you is that make a list, check it twice, use the Santa Claus method. Check it twice and then check it one more time before you go to make sure you don't forget, say, your GoPro, for example. Because then you either buy a new GoPro on the ship, if that's even possible, or you just don't get underwater footage. And some of us can't live like that. So that's my advice.
To go back to the wine or champagne, I also want to say, if you're going to bring wine, either do a twist top or bring on a corkscrew. Yes. I know that you can ask for a corkscrew, but sometimes they either don't have one available, or if you take your wine to the dining room, they charge you a corking fee. So just bring your own with you.
Yeah. All right. You find the next question, and I'm going to see. Let's see. Mike says, take a plug, USB cord. Absolutely. Todd is saying a small USB fan can run on a battery pack or plugged in, very portable, and that is the kind that is allowed. So if you need a fan to sleep, you get hot easily, although normally staterooms can be quite cool, but there are ships where people have had warm staterooms. So if you're somebody that gets warm easily at night and you want to be safe, you could do that. JT saying, sounds like you've experienced that, Matt. Yes, I have. And now we have 3 GoPros instead of 2. Mike says, whom would forget their GoPro, rookie? Yeah, I know.
It was quite funny.
2 cruises ago that happened.
Yeah.
And they didn't sell the 10, or the 9s. So we got another.
So we have 3 of the same thing.
3 8s, yeah. But it was a good price, and we didn't pay tax. Yeah. Did you remember something, Matt? Yes, I remembered to forget something. They might charge you. I think JT's talking about the corkage. Yeah. JT says, I had customers come back from the sunrise, and they said many people were complaining it was really warm in the room. So there you go, especially if it's an older ship. I've never had that problem, but I have heard people have that problem. So yeah. And Mike remembers me talking about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it was like out of a comedy show.
Well, and then we bought one and it was broken. Like the GoPro was faulty, and then we had to take it back. And luckily but it all turned out okay in the end. All right.
Eric says, seems it would be better to buy the champagne or wine in the port city in case it blows up in your checked bag on the flight in. Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
I don't know. Oh, in the
port city.
In the port city, in the port of departure.
Yeah, if when you arrive to Miami, go somewhere and grab a bottle of wine.
If you buy that though, at a port of call, they'll let you take it on the ship, but they will not give it to you until the end of the cruise.
Right.
Like if you buy any other liquor, and I don't know. I think you could probably get away with bringing some canned beverages back on, maybe even bottled beverages back
I think so,
from a port of call. I feel like I've done that before, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
All right, I've got my next one.
Okay.
What is the first thing a new cruiser should do when they get on board?
Ooh. What is the first thing a new cruiser should do when they get on board? And while we're waiting for those answers to come in, Todd says, for flying, I have a tech pack that has wired headphones and a mount that goes in the back of the chair. That's cool. That's cool.
Cool.
All right. What is the first thing a new cruiser should do when they get on board?
My answer is always explore.
Yeah.
But that's what I do now.
Yeah, I would say explore.
Or eat.
It's your first cruise. You know, you want to kind of get a lay of the land. Don't freak out. Don't stress out. It's always the most stressful is getting on the ship. And everybody's like, oh, where's it? But then within like a few hours, everybody's like in cruise mode and relaxed.
Or go to where all the people are not going.
Yes.
Because everyone's heading to the buffet.
That is a good one.
So if you go somewhere else, you're not surrounded by all the people and all their luggage that they didn't check.
JT and Sean are saying muster if you can, or muster if you can. Kevin's saying take a ship tour. James says cry because he's so happy. I feel you there.
JT said muster, then get a beverage.
Get a beverage. Yep. And my mom says, get the muster drill done. Mom she has been on one cruise since the musters have gotten so much easier.
I guess muster is actually a really good answer.
Muster's a very practical
answer. I keep
answer.
forgetting that the muster has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't forget, but like when I think of I get on the ship and I explore. Actually, we get on the ship and we go do our muster and then we explore.
We do. I think we do. We go to the muster. Todd goes to the gym. He might be serious. I mean, the man rides miles on a bicycle.
I was gonna say the only reason I would go to the gym is so where I know where not to go back to during my cruise.
All right, next one. Name something a new cruiser should definitely not miss on their first cruise. What is something that is you must do on your first cruise, even if you don't do it on other cruises, or maybe you will do it every cruise? But what is something that you should definitely not miss? What do you think for that one?
Should not miss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say the MDR.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Like I know that's like over a multiple night thing, but you could, I guess, choose to go to specialty dining or the buffet every night. But really, you should go to the MDR.
I think some people are intimidated by the MDR, or they just feel like it's too fancy for them. And I get that, but yeah, you got to try it because you might, if you don't think you'll like it, you might be very, very surprised. It's a really cool experience. It's not just about the food, but it is about the food. But it's more than that, and it's a really cool experience. And I'm not a fancy person, but I really, really enjoy the MDR. I would definitely recommend trying that. It's a good one. Let's see what else. Experience the ship, the group. James says the group. Sean says experience the ship. Let's see. JT saying it's part of the cruise experience. Good one, Kimbra. Yep, that was a good one. And my mom is saying tea time. Yeah, if they have a tea time, that is a lot of fun. For sure. For sure. All right, what you got?
All right, I'm just going down the list. Name something a new cruiser should skip on their first cruise.
Oh. Something a new cruiser should skip on their first cruise. Didn't update on my list here.
It will in a minute.
Okay.
Yours took a minute to update on mine.
Okay.
What would you say?
I don't know. Because that's such a personal question as far as like different people. Like for me, if I could go back in time and give myself advice, I would say like skip the deck party, the sail away deck party, because I don't really care about that. But some people really like that, so that's not really a good answer for everyone. What would I say? I don't know. I mean,
Kevin said skip the art auction. Your mom said skip the gym.
Skip the gym. I guess we already answered it that way. Yeah.
Paul said the sail away party.
Oh, Paul, you and we have the same thoughts there. I just don't care about the sail away party. I maybe some of you are like, what? And others might be like, yeah, totally. Being people watchers, deck party is fun. Okay, I get that. Yeah. Just kind of observe from the side. That's another thing I was worried about my first cruise. I was like, is this going to be like a crazy, like frat party kind of experience the whole time. And the deck party was like, oh my God, it might be. And then it wasn't at all. It was like so chill and laid back. Like there's party where you can find it if you want it, but it's not like in your face. Like you can avoid it. And normally I do because I'm boring. All right. Let's see. I'm going to skip around a little bit.
Okay.
Do you usually get off the ship at every port, stay on board for some, or never get off of the ship? What do you do? Do you stay on? Do you get off at every port? Do you never get off at any port? Or do you mix it up depending on the ports or depending on the length of the cruise or something like that? What do you do, Kimbra?
I am sorry. My mother just texted me I need help. So probably with the air fryer.
Let me just take that for you.
I'm sorry. I get off at most ports.
Yeah. I would say I have never not gotten off at a port. I get off at all of the ports. Will you tell your mother that you're doing a live stream right now, podcast?
I apparently don't know how to get
I get off at most ports. I know some people don't. I mean, there are ships. Like if I was on Mardi Gras and it went to a port I didn't care about or that I've been to a bunch of times, I would maybe consider not getting off. But for the most part, that is not what I'm going to do. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Eric says, I'm looking forward to my first sail away party. It looks like it's always fun to vlog. That is true. And like I said, just because I think something doesn't mean that that's the right answer. It's just for me, and a lot of people do love it. You should probably try it if you think it'd be fun. Definitely don't miss it. And it might be different dynamic in a group too. That could change my opinion of it as well. My mom gets off at every port. Yes, she does because she's with me. Sean says, get off the ship to experience something of the port. Yeah. You don't have to get off and do an excursion. You can just get off, put your feet on it, say, I've been on this area. But if you've been to the port, like maybe you've been to Nassau a bunch of times, and you want to stay on and take advantage of the ship with less crowd, that's cool. Oh, and then Todd says, we get off every time, but Nassau. We are not fans of Nassau. Todd, if you cruise with me to Nassau, I will change your mind on that. But I get it.
I'm actually really excited to get back to Nassau.
I know.
After our last visit there,
yes,
like I enjoyed almost everything that we did.
Yeah.
And I want to go do all of those things again.
Yeah.
Most of those things again.
Kevin is saying we usually have a game plan for every port, but sometimes we get tired and skip a port. That's another thing. Yeah. If you're on a longer cruise, you've got a lot of port stops, then you could skip one. Sometimes you need to get your wind back. Sometimes you need to rest, especially if it's like port. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I need to take a break. So do that. It's okay to do that. All right. You ready for your next question?
Yeah. Sorry. My mom was struggling a little bit, but all is well now. Okay. The next one is, how many pieces of luggage do you bring on your cruise? Checked luggage and carry-on.
Oh. How many pieces do you take?
Well, so it depends. Let's say this is for what? A 7-night cruise? Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah. Let's say a 7-night cruise.
Because if it's like a shorter one.
That's true. Let's say a 7-night cruise.
So normally for that, we each take a suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take, I guess, the snorkel bag and a small, my small little backpack thing. So I check the suitcase and then I carry on the other two.
Yep. And I'm the same way. Suitcase with the clothes and toiletries are in one of our suitcases, usually yours. And then I have my dive bag or snorkel bag, and then I have my tech bag. And the dive bag and the suitcase get checked usually. And
that's true. The snorkel bag we do check, don't we?
Yeah. And then the tech bag gets carried.
So we only carry on one, and we don't usually.
Your mom apologizing.
She was on Facebook and couldn't figure out how
Let's
to get.
Let's just bring her on here and talk about the air. I'm just teasing you, Tammy. It's okay, really. Let's see. Hey, Dan. Welcome,
right,
Dan.
Let's start at the top. What do we got here? Dan says 2.
Yes, Dan says 2. Also, JT doesn't like the shopping pressure in Nassau. Yeah, but now I avoid the straw market, and then it's not a problem.
JT says 1 suitcase and 1 backpack for my CPAP.
Gotcha. Okay.
Your mom says 3.
3. Mom takes 3, and
let's see.
she's probably counting like her purse, in a carry-on.
Yeah.
And then
she checks
her
that.
suitcase, because I think she usually says 1 suitcase. Alana brings 4 suitcases, and I have a Ziploc bag. Okay. We're going to check that out with Alana and make sure that's accurate there, buddy.
Jennifer brings 1 suitcase. Kevin says, we do not travel light. We each take a 3-piece set of luggage and a personal bag.
Okay. Hey, I mean, that's one of the advantages of cruising. You can bring as much as you want. As you know, you may have limitations with the airport if you're flying, but other than that, it's like what you're comfortable. The cruise lines don't really want you to bring more than a certain amount, but they won't say no. It's not like the airport.
There's something flying in my face.
It's not Reno. He's not a flying dog.
Let's see. My mother says 3 pieces of luggage, backpack, and personal carry-on. Well, let's back up. My mother's cruise was 10 nights?
Yeah, it was a long time.
And it was out of, I don't know where it left from.
Spain maybe, or
yes, Barcelona.
Yeah, that's Spain. Yeah.
So it wasn't just like a simple 7-night cruise. And
no.
My mother does not travel light. But that's okay.
Athens. Oh, it left out of Athens, Greece.
Oh, okay.
I feel like they flew in or they went to Spain. We'll find out.
Yes, we will.
We'll get all those details in order there. All right. What else we got? What other answers we got here?
Let's see. James said that Cindy said only 2 is what they're going to bring.
Okay.
Oh, I just skipped through everything. Paul said 2.
2.
Your mom said carry on, 1 for shoes and non-clothes, 1 for clothes.
Okay.
Blaine is here. Hello, Blaine.
Hey, Blaine.
And Stanley Hicks is here.
Oh, hi, Stanley.
That's Facebook user, just in case you wanted.
Okay, that's cool.
Blaine says 1 plus a carry-on, so 2 for each of them.
Okay. And bye, Stacy and Gina. Got to run. Understand you're on a cruise right now.
Let's see.
Hello, Moonlight Adventures. By the way, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're way.
I'm just catching those.
That's
yeah.
Cool. And Mike says all my vlogger gear is in my carry-on.
Right. So you will see a difference between the vloggers and the regular cruisers, because the vloggers, we all have all this extra junk we got to haul around with us. Although we talked about this on Lovey's last night. Like Mike and I, we've slimmed that down, and I think a lot of people have really. What else we got?
All right, everybody's saying hi to everybody.
Okay, that's cool.
Eric says I pack light. I hate airport bag fees, and I don't like waiting for baggage.
Okay. Next question. Do you need cash on a cruise? And if so, for what? Do you need cash on a cruise? And if your answer to that is yes, what do you need it for? Because on the whole, you can't use cash on a cruise, but there are exceptions to that. But for us, we bring cash for 2 things. One is to tip the porters at the port of call. No, at the embarkation port that take our bags. We usually tip $2 to $5 per bag, depending on whether they're hauling dive weights.
Yeah,
or
and
how generous we're feeling. Right after the pandemic, I was like trying to give more if I could.
And we carry our luggage off the ship ourselves, but if we didn't, we would tip our porters there too.
Yes. And I've done that before. And definitely tip your porters. That's important. And then the other reason that we bring cash is for ports.
Yeah,
ports
we use cash at the ports. We don't typically use a card.
However much we think we're going to spend on shopping or whatever we might need it on, which usually isn't really that much. We don't usually spend that much money in port. But some people might. So what do we got? What answers we got?
So we're scrolling fast. Let me go back up here. So Moonlight Adventure says cash for tips.
Cash for tips, yes.
JT says we take cash for tipping porters and paying cash in ports.
Mm-hmm.
Blaine says cash for certain ports or tender porters.
Okay.
Dan says for port stops.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Your mom says only for tips in port and for purchases in ports.
Yep. If you're doing an excursion, like we went on an excursion in our local area today, and it was a boat, and so we tipped them. So if you go on an excursion that's like a boat or a tour, you might want to consider tipping them.
Kevin says, I always take a couple grand for the casino and walking around money in the ports. We tend to do private tours, so we often have to pay those in cash.
Yeah, and if you are going to be a casino person, then cash, you can just put it on your card, but a lot of people will use cash for that, and then you can put it into so that way you don't overspend maybe, or just so I don't know, different people have different ways to like save money and stuff like that.
Mike says we brought a lot of cash everywhere we went, once credit cards at Margarita Beach Resort, Nassau.
Okay.
Let's see, we've also tipped porters on disembark and they took us to the front of the line.
Okay.
Yes, that is something that they will do. Sean says, yes, we do not have tipping culture, but we tip our room steward and the main servers who serve us in the MDR.
And that's a good tip to consider if you are cruising in another country. Research and find out what their tipping culture is, because otherwise you're going to come to, if you go to a culture where tipping is expected, consider tipping, like Sean is talking about there. But if you're going to a country that tipping is not normal, then, maybe don't tip or do if you want to, but know that it's going to be kind of weird. Maybe consider weird. They probably wouldn't hate it though. So yeah.
I like to use cash in the casino, souvenirs, cash for tips.
Yep.
We never use a card in port.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't use a card in port unless it's like something really big that I trust. Like I would use one at Chankanaab in Mexico because it's like a national refuge kind of thing. But I would use one in the stores, and I don't normally even use one someplace like that, but I would feel okay doing that. But in another country, and it's not nothing against that country. It's just like if there is a fraud problem, that can happen anywhere. But if I have to deal with it across country lines, I feel like that's going to be a lot more challenging. All right.
Are we ready?
Ready.
What do you typically wear in the MDR?
Oh, I wear a smile.
I wear the food on my face.
No, this is something, and we got this question from James, and it's a very legitimate question because people don't know. Because if you go to the websites, it makes it sound like you have to wear a very specific dress code. And that, in my experience on Carnival and Royal Caribbean, and I don't know about all the other cruise lines, that is not really the real expectation. Now, I do not go to MDR wearing like a sleeveless shirt and swim trunks or cutoffs or something. I don't own cutoffs, but I do wear like khaki shorts, and normally sometimes I'll wear a t-shirt if it's not like the formal night, one of the formal nights. 7-night cruise usually has 2. But a lot of times I'll wear a button-up shirt because I like to wear a button-up shirt, I think, and I got like fun pattern ones and stuff that I wear. And then on formal night, I will wear pants. It's the only time of year I wear pants. And I'll wear a button-up shirt. I used to wear a tie and all that. I don't do that anymore. I'm on a vacation. I don't want to wear a tie. I hate wearing ties.
I will tell you that there is going to be a cruise at some point in time that we're going to dress like super fancy.
To the nines?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do that.
I don't know which one, and I don't know when, but it will happen at some point in time.
Okay. All right. I mean,
I just want you to know.
I can compromise.
All right. Let's see what kind of answers we have.
Okay.
JT says slacks and a dress shirt on formal nights. Dan says casual and comfortable. I don't like getting dressed up. Paul says jeans, dress shirt, sports jacket, and cowboy boots.
There you go.
Let's see. We skipped. JT says I've worn nice shorts and a polo shirt.
Yeah, polo shirt, another good option.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your mom says dress slacks and top or simple dress, sometimes a long dress.
Okay.
Mike says we always skip formal night.
You don't have to though, Mike. You can go to the formal night because the dinners at NDR at formal night is usually a little bit of a notch up. And so, people don't, at least I'm speaking of Carnival, maybe Royal Caribbean, but definitely Carnival because that's where I have most experience. I see a lot of people that do not get super dressed up on formal night. Like seriously, like a button-up shirt. And I think some people will even wear shorts. Like as long as they're, they're not going to wear basketball shorts, but it's fine. I mean, you're under the table. Nobody's going to see your legs. It doesn't matter, like if somebody's that offended that you're walking to your table, then they have issues they need to solve that are not your problem. That's the way I see it. But some people like to get dressed up to the nines. Like when I first started cruising, like they rented tuxedos and stuff, but that has gone away.
Yeah, people like the casual feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean says, I normally go in jeans and a button-up shirt to normal dinner, but on formal night, I have been known to wear a suit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Todd says, I collect fun button-up shirts and my shorts and my bright orange Vans. Formal night is pants and a fun shirt and orange Vans.
Nice. I like it. But that unique flair. I wore my new Coral Reef Vans on the last cruise. I love those shoes so much.
Kevin says, we typically cruise lines that are country club casual. Okay. I wear Dockers, a Hawaiian shirt, and some deck shoes.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Is it my turn?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. What are some cruise terms that new cruisers should know? What are the terms that new cruisers are going to get on board and people are going to be using things like MDR, which we've said multiple times tonight. And if we have new cruises, they're like, what are you talking about?
That is the main dining room.
Main dining room. We speak in this language, the cruisers. And if you're not used to cruising or you've never cruised before, you might be like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. MDR, there's one. Main dining room. That is where most people eat their sit-down dinners with wait staff. On the regular, there are also upcharge restaurants, or there's the buffet. Those are your options, or room service. Those are your options on most cruises for dinner. And yeah, what are some other ones though? Man overboard. That's the first one I saw.
Muster
is the muster drill. You have to go through a safety drill that tells you where you need to go in the unlikely event that there's an emergency, and they'll teach you how to put on a life jacket or tell you what to do in case of that happening. Aft.
That's the first thing that came to my mind is aft. And then I was like, oh, we should do all the other sides too, which JT said.
Oh yeah. Okay. Man overboard. If somebody sees somebody go overboard, or if somebody hears them shout man overboard, what you're supposed to do is look at them and keep your eyes on them and get somebody to call for help from the cruise staff, because once you lose sight of somebody in the water, they're gone. Now, the only way you're going to fall off a cruise ship, in my opinion, is if you are extraordinarily unlucky, like really, really unlucky, or you've been imbibing a little bit too much and you're a daredevil, or you are very sad. And that is an unfortunate scenario there. But you're not going to accidentally fall off a cruise ship under normal circumstances. But if it does happen, that is what you should do. What else we got here? We got bow, aft, starboard, port. How do you know which side is the port and which is the starboard, Kimbra?
Left is 4 letters. Port is 4 letters.
There you go. Port and left, both 4 letters. There you go. Let's see. Oh, I think I lost
Lido.
Lido. What is the Lido?
The Lido is the deck with the pool and where they do all the deck parties and stuff.
Usually the buffet is there as well. What else we got here?
Oh, my mom said theirs was not called the muster. It was a safety drill.
That's because you were on a smaller
fancy
vessel. Speaking of different things, tender is what we call boats that have to come to pick you up if the ship can't dock at a port. However, Carnival calls them water shuttles because that's how they are.
My aunt says, I'm not a big fan of mustard myself. I like mayo, though.
Let's see. What else we got? CD. CD, that is not an obsolete form of music recordings. It is the
cruise director
who is going to be, depending on the cruise line on Carnival, is going to be a very entertaining person. You're going to see them a lot. You're going to hear their voice a lot. They're there to make sure everybody's having a good time. Helm. Oh, what is the helm?
The helm is where the driver drives.
Yes, it's the steering portion, basically. Point of sale. Todd, I don't know what that one means. So could you please tell us exactly what point of sale means? Because to me, that sounds like a retail term. Atrium.
The atrium is normally midship, and on most of the older ships, some of the newer ships aren't.
Ones, yeah.
Well, yes, that's why some of the newer ships don't have it quite the same way, but it's like the spot where it starts on like the lower deck and it goes all the way up to the top.
Yes, and the Pride has that.
Yes.
And we love that about it. Poop deck. That can mean different things for different people. I've heard fore and aft. So bow, fore, you could, yes, people say fore. I feel like there's another term for the front of the ship too that I'm not thinking of.
Forward.
Forward, yes. Which is fore is just short,
Yeah.
a shortened version of forward. Yes. Cabin.
Oh, cabin is your room.
Cabin is your room. Your stateroom is another term that is used to describe where you stay. Let's see what else we've
Point
got
of sale
here.
is the direction.
That direction that the ship is going.
Sign and sail
Good
card.
one, Mike. Good one. Sign and sail card. What is the sign and sail card?
That is or ship card would be another.
Yes. Or medallion if you're on Princess.
Or bracelet if you're on.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Most of us.
But yeah, it's the card that they give you when you get on the ship. That will be your room key. That is how you pay for everything. That is how you get on and off the ship at ports.
I think your aunt is commenting about poop decks. That's your aunt, right? It says Facebook user.
I know what a poop deck is.
Sure
My daughter has one occasionally when Portia doesn't make it to the yard.
Don't we all? Yes.
Portia is a dog, for those of you that don't know, which would be none of you.
OBC. Good one, Sean. What is OBC? It's Obi-Wan Kenobi spelled wrong.
It is onboard credit.
Yes. And onboard credit is a really cool thing to have. Sometimes you get that with your cruise. Sometimes there's different ways you can come about onboard credit, but it's basically money you can spend on the cruise ship.
Yeah, it's extra money that you didn't necessarily pay for in advance. It just came as part of a perk for booking the cruise under a certain special rate or being part of a group.
Hey, welcome Meg Bonbini to Meg FCC. That's not the rate that people that control the airways, right?
No.
What?
Future cruise credit.
Future cruise credit. That's what I like to hear. Your cruise gets canceled or something goes wrong, you might get a future cruise credit to use on a future cruise. That could be pretty cool. Never happened to me yet. Kind of hope it doesn't. Kind of hope it does.
I should probably look and pick my next one.
Yes. Port, starboard, forward, aft, bow, stern is another name for aft. I think we said that already.
That's the word you were looking for earlier.
Well, stern is the back.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. How many pairs of shoes do you pack on a 7-night cruise?
Oh, and Mike said Fun Squad. That's a Carnival specific thing. Fun Squad are the people that run the trivia. They run the bingo. They run the dance parties, the sail away parties, the karaoke, anything that requires fun is the Fun Squad. Okay. What was the question? How many shoes? How many pairs
of shoes do you pack on a 7-night cruise?
I usually do something for the formal or the dining room. So like now it's my Coral Reef Vans. I usually do something that's like casual, either my Crocs or flip flops, sometimes both, but usually one or the other. And then
That's probably all you do.
that's it. Well, my scuba booties
I don't know if those count.
probably don't count. Okay.
All right.
What
We
do
have
got?
lots of answers.
Oh, wow. Yeah. This
Oh, shoot. What did that just do? It's fine. I'll catch up. So we have Meg says 2, Paul says 4, Sean says 3, my mother says 8.
Of course.
1 for each
Imelda
night
Marcos.
plus an extra. Moonlight Adventure says I pack 3, Chaz packs about 6. JT says 3, 2 Crocs and a pair of dress shoes. James says it will be 1 shoe.
and he's gonna drink from it. It's a shoey. Hey, has anybody found Steve? Crikey, where are you gonna look?
Mike says 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Your mom says 4.
Yeah.
Meg says flip flops and sneakers.
Oh yeah.
Mike says water shoes, tennis shoes, maybe deck shoes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next one we're gonna do. Where did it go? What item do you bring that others might not think of or might think it's not allowed? What do you bring on that maybe other people don't think about, especially new cruisers? I know most of us that have cruised a lot, we've heard these things because we talk to each other. It's a thing that we do, or maybe you didn't know you could bring it on, but you can. What would your thing be?
I don't know. I didn't know I was going to have to answer.
I'm going to say, I could come up with a lot of things, but I'm going to say magnetic hooks.
Okay.
Which are usually useful, not always, because your magnetic experience with your cabin walls will vary on your ship. But I bring, what we didn't ask is how many hats do you bring, Matt? And that can be a lot. So I hang them from hooks. And if it doesn't attract to the wall, because magnets don't stick, that's the science guy in me, it will usually attract to the ceiling, which is low in a cruise ship. Or someplace you're going to be able to put magnets, and they're going to stay, and they're going to hold hats or whatever you want, your lanyard, if you want a lanyard or something like that for your sign and sail card.
So I'm going to go with the answer that I actually said earlier.
Okay.
Is if you're bringing a bottle of wine with a cork, then bring a corkscrew.
Yeah, that's a good one. And you can. It's not an airplane. You can do that.
Okay.
JT say, oh, we got more before
We've
that.
let's go up here. Let's see. Sean said, I think Steve is behind your head.
What?
Sean said, I think Steve is behind your head.
Oh, I hit him pretty good, didn't I? He kind of got blurred out.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
reveal at the end of the episode.
That's fine.
Don't let us forget.
Let's see. Meg says a giant Yeti water bottle for excursions.
Oh, good idea. And quite the green idea too, might I say.
And Mike says a bottle opener and tumbler.
Yeah, bottle opener and tumbler to fill it up with water, tea, lemonade. That way you have stuff in the cabin to drink. If you didn't bring cans of stuff or something like that, then you've got it. You don't have to buy stuff. You can just fill it up and have it in your refrigerator. Nice and cold. James has something, a Ziploc bag to protect passport in the rain.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Ziploc bags can be handy for keeping things dry or keeping things that are wet from getting other things wet.
I was gonna say, I will also sometimes pack some like grocery bags. So if we haven't been able to dry all of our stuff out at the end of the cruise, it doesn't get the rest of our stuff wet. So we'll put that wet stuff in a bag.
Yep.
JT says extension cord with no surge protection.
Yeah, you cannot bring an extension cord with a surge protector. You can bring, the power strip thing is a little iffy these days. Used to be you could bring them, then you could bring them if they didn't have a surge protector. Now I think Royal Caribbean just like, nope. But Carnival's still okay with it. What we bring, because so much of our stuff runs off a USB, we have a little USB hub, and they haven't had any issues with that.
JT says 3 to 5 hats.
Okay.
Moonlight Adventures, magnetic hooks, tumblers, and a power strip.
Good ideas. Just make sure that the cruise line you're going on will accept power strips, because that has been a fluid thing in the last 5 years or so.
Mike says magnets are not good on the Sunshine, only frame of door to bathroom. We kind of ran into that on the Paradise. The walls were not magnetic, but the ceiling was. So we made it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you got to improvise a little bit.
Your mom says an art pad and markers.
Of course. That's my mom.
Meg, a book of crossword puzzles.
Oh, that's a good idea. And that is cool because one of the things that is fun to do on a cruise is just to chill out somewhere. Find a good spot with a nice view. Chill out. It could be inside, outside. There's a lot of windows on the ship. And if you like doing crosswords or any kind of puzzles, I draw, you like to read, that's good. And sometimes they will have little puzzles and stuff. I've seen that a lot on cruises, but it's usually like a page a day. And so if you are good at crosswords, you might want to bring your whole book with you.
We have last cruise. We took a couple puzzles, silicone or aluminum straws.
Oh, I like that, Mike. Thank you for that. Your cruise ships, a lot of them have gotten rid of straws or they've replaced them. Like Carnival has like the candy straws, which will melt as you drink stuff through them. So if you're a person that's going to bother you, you can buy disposable straws. But as a person that cares about the ocean and the things that live in it, I would just ask you to consider bringing a reusable straw. But if you can't, then that's fine. I won't judge you too harshly.
Snorkel gear.
Yes, bring your own snorkel gear if you are a snorkeler. That I recommend, especially a mask. Definitely.
And then my mom and Kevin are having a lovely conversation about my mother being spoiled from cruising.
I love it.
From her fancy cruise.
All right. What else we got? We caught up?
That we are caught up.
Sweet.
What are 3 important things you pack in your carry-on?
Oh. Well, I'm going to say iPad because I can't live without my iPad. Because that is my art tablet, my crossword puzzle, I don't really read much these days, but, and then I'm going to say camera of some sort, although that's often my phone, but like a GoPro, because I'm going to be filming underwater. So, or my underwater iPhone case, something for underwater filming. And then my third thing is going to be, make sure I've got all the right charging cables. Don't want to make that mistake. I've seen that happen. It's ugly.
I think mine would be my iPad.
Yeah.
Our passports and other documentation because I'm the one that usually carries that. And I don't want to leave it behind or put it in my checked luggage because then I can't get on the ship. And what else do I usually carry? Lotion?
Okay. Right. Lotion.
I don't know. It's just in my bag.
So Mike is saying Dollar Tree has great silicone straws for $1.25. Really cool. One thing I would recommend too, and I don't know what you might be able to get these at Dollar Tree, definitely Amazon, but $1.25 is a really good price. Is get a large bore straw if you like drinking the fun cruise boat drinks. The strawberry daiquiri, the Miami Vice, the pina colada. You don't want to try and suck that through like a normal size straw.
Yeah.
That
doesn't work well.
So get a large bore straw and get a few of them so you can kind of clean them out and stuff if you can. Or just deal with whatever they have. I usually just deal with whatever they have, but I do sometimes bring them on there. JT says CPAP, any meds that we might need. So that's important stuff. That's like, I say my iPad's important, but in reality, it's not. It's just important to me because I want it. But if you have meds or a CPAP machine or things that you really need, definitely want to make sure you have those in your carry-on. Just in the rare instance that you may not get your bags right away, or heaven forbid they get left off the ship. I don't know that really ever happens, but it could, I guess. So make sure you've got that stuff with you.
His third one is chapstick. It's just down a little bit further.
Okay.
And my mother is heading out. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye, Tammy.
Thanks for participating.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Keep reading.
All right. Let's see. Paul says meds, papers, and clean drawers. That's good. my mom would approve. Meg says, I travel carry-on only, but important documents, my swimsuit and Dramamine. So swimsuit is a good one. That's a good tip. If you want to get in the pools and the hot tubs before other people are able to do that, first day before everybody got their luggage and you got your swim stuff, you're good to go.
Aunt Dee said chapstick because I'll be kissing some dudes.
Nice. My mom says iPad, Nook, art pad, because it's my mom. And Lovey says laptop, camera gear, folder with everything. You're kind of a folder with everything.
I'm that person.
Yeah, you're that person, which is good. All right.
Am I the next question, or is that, or did I do that one?
I don't remember. Who did
I did that one.
You did that one? Okay.
So it's you.
Okay. What port of call tip should new cruisers know for their first cruise? So what's something that a new cruiser needs to know about when you go to a port of call? It could be any port of call. What should they know?
My things are make sure you have your ship card and your license.
Yes. And your excursion ticket if you have an excursion. I don't know how many times I've seen people have to go all the way back to their cabin and come back to like get off the ship because they forgot one of those things.
Yeah.
And maybe I've even done that. So yeah, make sure you've got all those things. And also if you're like us and you're like chomping at the bit to get off the ship, do a little research to find out where that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, and be ready to go so that you can get off the ship really quick. If you're not like us and you're not chomping at the bit, I'd say give it a minute, give it an hour, go have a coffee, watch everybody crowding off the ship, and then just stroll off like it's your own personal entourage. Just nobody else around. You can do that too. So it depends on, on your style, what you want.
All right.
That's a good one, Meg.
Oh.
No fruits or vegetables allowed off the ship. In Mexico, there are fruit sniffing dogs.
Yes.
They ain't sniffing for drugs. Well, I don't think they are. They're not doing a good job if they are, based on my recent cruises. But yes, you can take closed packaged foods off the ship. But if it's open, And if it's like a banana, they will bust you with that banana. So don't do that. Ship time. Don't be late.
Don't be a pier runner.
Don't be a pier runner. There's another cruise term.
Oh, yeah.
Pier runner is what we call people who there's a time, usually a half an hour before the ship is supposed to disembark from that port of call, when everybody's supposed to be back on the ship. Pier runners are the ones that show up 29 minutes later or 35 minutes later, and the ship is waiting on them. And you will get mocked by the entire group of people on the ship who are looking at you and going, pier runner. Oh. But anyway, yeah, don't be a pier runner.
Oh, I'm gonna skip a little bit. My aunt says, what's with the fruit?
So it's just an agricultural thing. They don't want anything, any flora or fauna coming into their country that could possibly cause disease or anything like that. So it's just a agricultural kind of a deal.
Yeah. Let's see. So Mike says, listen for what is required in port: ID, mask, passport, vaccination card.
Oh yeah, right now that is.
Yeah,
relevant.
he said Bonaire required a vaccination card in person, no photos.
Oh wow. Okay. We have been told some ports we've been to have required that, but none of them actually have. But that's good to know that Bonaire did. Bonaire stayed closed longer than a lot of other places, so they are more strict about that. So yes, definitely know that in this day and time that we live. Yes.
I know this isn't the question, but I'm very excited. My aunt said, I have heard I may be going in March, working on it. I may not come back if I go, though.
I know the feeling.
I am also working on it. I've talked to many people and said, we need to get her on this cruise.
Yes.
Let's see. Kevin says they need to be aware that the ship will leave without them if they are late.
Darn tootin'.
And Meg says, don't get too drunk. You're likely to miss the ship.
Darn tootin'. Don't miss the ship. They will leave without you, and you will be on your own to get to the next port or to get back home. Exception being, if you book an excursion through the cruise line, they will get you where you need to go, or they will wait for you, and they're in contact with those excursion groups. So if you are going on an excursion in a port and it's going to be far away or it's kind of close to the time you leave, you might want to book that through the cruise line unless you're real comfortable and confident. If it's a real close by one or it ends like 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours before the ship leaves, you're probably good. But, use your own judgment
and in
there.
that case, then it's on you to make it back to the ship.
It is on you. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
All right. It's my turn, right?
It is your turn.
Do you want to finish these? We are at our time. Or do you?
Well, let's do the lightning round here.
Okay. What is a good food or eating tip for a new cruiser?
Oh, so I'm going to say, somebody's like beating on the wall.
Something is happening.
No.
Or it's happening upstairs, like over on the.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Anyway, I will say this: experiment. Don't be afraid to order multiple things, but don't overeat. It's real easy when you're a new cruiser to stuff yourself because there's food everywhere. It typically tastes very good, and it just keeps being available.
You just said like everybody's stuff probably.
Probably did. So don't overdo it. Pace yourself. It'll still be there the next day.
JT says try it all.
Yes.
Meg said blue iguana.
Oh, on the Carnival ship.
JT said you can always order more.
You can always order more. And if you get something, I'm not encouraging you to waste food, but if you get something and it's gross, just tell your server. They'll bring you something else.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're on vacation. Be a super conservative eater the rest of your life. When you're on a cruise, try and be a conservative eater, but you're on vacation. Live a little bit.
Chocolate melting cake with vanilla ice cream.
Oh, yes. That would be the chocolate melting cake. That's what it's called, right? Or is it the melting chocolate cake? Or the
I think it's the melting chocolate cake, but we always say chocolate melting cake because it sounds better that way.
It's a carnival thing. Yeah, it's a carnival thing.
Oh, Sean said, "Gotta run. Where's Steve? See you on our live." Do you want me to point it out since he's leaving? We can do that since
it was his idea, and
you don't need to move. But
it'll get like clear.
Will it?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. Yes, he's hiding behind the ship on a stick. Crikey, that's a beautiful ship on a stick.
Warm chocolate melting cake.
Warm.
All right, next one, go.
Melting cake. Next one. Let's see. What noob mistake should a new cruiser avoid on their first cruise? Well, the food one is probably the one I would have said, actually. Here's the one I will say. I'm gonna tap into my man Tommy Casabona for this one a little bit. Don't stress on the first day. Go with the flow. It's gonna be okay. It's easy to get caught up in the stress on the first day of your cruise. Relax. It's gonna be all right. After that first part of the first day, everybody's going to start relaxing. It's going to seem crowded. It's going to seem rushed. It's going to seem stressful. It's not going to stay like that at all. So don't let that ruin your cruise.
Meg says, wear sunscreen. Mike says, don't get sunburn.
Yes.
Your mom says, eating too much.
Yep. All right. Next one.
Just read it because you've got it open.
Okay. What should new cruisers pack? Did we already do that one?
We said 3 things for your carry-on.
Okay, so we're going to skip that one. Where should new cruisers eat dinner on their first cruise? Buffet or MDR? We kind of talked about this too a little bit.
A little bit
redundant. But should they eat in the buffet, the MDR, or both? You heard our opinion on this.
Oh, also JT said, don't try to do everything. You won't be able to.
Yeah, probably not. JT says,
depending on the ship.
JT says both. Try both. And definitely like lunch, breakfast, buffet. There's other options for breakfast.
Paul said MDR and C-Day brunch.
Oh, good one.
Meg says both.
Yep.
Your mom says MDR.
Yep.
Mike said skip the buffet.
Skip the buffet. Didn't he? No. Yeah. I mean, I would experience the buffet at least once for dinner.
I do Yeah,
But
I like to
then-
go to the buffet for breakfast.
Breakfast is good. Lunch is sometimes okay,
Yeah.
but if you're on like the carnival ships with the blue iguanas and the guys' burgers, I ain't wasting my time in the buffet. I might pick at the buffet for lunch, but yeah, MDR is where it's
Yeah.
at. But
All right.
definitely try it.
What extra cost items do you consider necessary for a full cruise experience?
Oh, like technically, you don't have to spend any more money than what you paid to book the cruise, but most of us do, let's face it. But are there things that you feel like you have to spend money on, or you're not really getting the full experience? Would you say there's anything?
I mean, the only thing that I would say is probably excursions.
I would agree with that. And depending on the ports.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was a cruise that we recently did that we didn't do anything.
If I'm going
extra.
to Puerto Rico, Grand Turk, if I'm going to Half Moon Cay, Coco Cay,
Amber Cove,
Grand Cayman,
Nassau.
Those are all ports where I don't need to do an excursion, but I am going to spend money in most of those. Well, not Half Moon Cay or Coco Cay, not the private islands, Princess Cay. I'm probably not going to spend money there. My mom says bingo, of course.
JT says excursions. Meg said beer, but that's me.
So I don't have to drink to feel like I have a good cruise.
Yep.
But I do like having some cocktails depending on the cruise and who I'm with. I may have more or less, but I don't need to. Yeah.
I'm recently into like pina coladas. When we went to Puerto Rico and had that pina colada, like it's definitely better than the cruise ship pina coladas, but that experience has like turned me on to
Change
pina
your
coladas.
life, pina
Yeah.
colada. Do you like pina coladas? Anyway, bingo with Matt, my mom says.
Yeah, you said that already.
Did I?
You did.
Okay. And then, all right, final one, using one word or phrase. Why do you love to cruise? So you can express this in a single word or a few words. Why do you love to cruise? Let the new cruisers know what is so great about cruising, that we are so crazy about it, that we do YouTube channels and Facebook groups, and we talk to, like, what is so great about cruising?
Do you have an answer for that? Or you want to see what they all have to say first?
I'm going to see what they have to say first on this one. Meg says relaxation. Okay.
All right.
Relaxation. That's a good one. Let's see if we get some more in here. By the way, don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already, if you're out there in YouTube land. That's all we got.
Relaxation.
We stumped everybody else.
There we go.
Oh.
New cultures and relations.
Oh, I like that. Cultural experiences. Yeah. It's your world, your way, says Kevin. That's great. Exploration, says Meg.
Being on the water, adventure.
Yes, that's my mom.
View of open ocean equals peaceful.
Mike, that's Mike there. And then JT says, Meg, you beat him to it.
Meg said exploration.
Yes.
Andy said it's not promising that no one has anything, but they have it now.
Yeah, they have it. They were just delayed there. What would you say?
Well, I have two thoughts. One, all inclusive.
Okay.
Because I like that I'm
Yeah.
paying it and not thinking about it later.
Yeah.
Of course, there's things that can be added, but that's beside the point. It doesn't have to be. The other one is I get to travel without driving.
Yeah. Stress-free.
Stress-free. That might be a good one.
Adventure, kind of like exploration, adventure. Easy.
Yeah.
I mean, inexpensive.
Out of the country.
Caribbean, multiple locations. I mean, there's a lot here, right? Water. Yes. Very cool. All right. That is great. Thank you, everybody that was in the chat tonight. Thank you guys for helping us.
Did you take notes, Matt?
No, we can read this, so it's okay. Thank you guys for helping out our new cruisers as well. And I think that's all I got.
Cruise creature?
Oh my gosh. I forgot about the cruise creature.
Are you ready for it?
Let's do it real quick. Yeah, we're not. was starting to say, we'll knock that cruise creature out, but I didn't mean physically.
You probably
I would
shouldn't
never,
do that.
I would not do that. The cruise creature for this episode
Not a touchscreen.
is one we saw today, which is going to be.
You didn't put a picture.
I
there.
did. It just.
Oh.
It didn't upload. It's going to be the gopher tortoise. Let me see if I can get it to come up again. Maybe it's too big to go in there, or we can share the screen if we have to. The gopher tortoise, because we were on a place called Egmont Key today, a little island called Egmont Key, where, by the way, the pilot boats hang out. That's where the pilot captains live, I think, for these parts of their life. And it is riddled with gopher tortoises. No, it doesn't like that image. So
I wonder if I can try and keep talking.
Okay. So gopher tortoises are really cool tortoises that are found throughout Florida, and they are one of the bigger tortoises that we have in the United States. And they're really special because they like to live in the high and dry areas of the state of Florida, which has been kind of a benefit and a non-benefit for them, because people also like to build stuff in the high and dry areas of Florida, which has meant that these animals have had to deal with a lot of habitat loss, and that's one of the biggest challenges for. There we go. There's one of the.
I know that's not the picture you were trying, but that's the only one I have access to.
Yeah, but it's one that we saw today. So these are really cool animals. You could call them a turtle. Tortoise is kind of a type of turtle, and tortoises are not super scientific terms, so I don't care if you use them interchangeably. But when we talk about tortoises, we're typically talking about a family of chelonians, turtles, and the tortoises are all terrestrial that we know of. I never say all in science. And they have flat feet, and some of them live in rainforests, some of them live in deserts. They live in different habitats, but a lot of them are more arid. And even in Florida, they live in the drier places. These guys are called gopher tortoises because they dig burrows, and these burrows can be 9 feet deep and almost 50 feet long, and they're really important. We call them a keystone species, and what that means is a keystone is, I'm from St. Louis, so I'm partial to arches, but when you build an arch, the last piece you put in is the keystone. And so a keystone species is an animal or plant that if you remove that from the ecosystem, imagine you take that stone out, well, your whole arch, it collapses. And so gopher tortoises are keystone species because the habitats that they live in Florida are prone to forest fire. And it's actually a good thing, because if these habitats don't catch on fire every few years or so, they will change, because different plants will grow up and replace the ones that are there that are kind of scrubby plants, and it'll become a different type of habitat. So normally and historically, lightning will cause these fires, but now they even have what's called a prescribed burn, where they will intentionally burn areas in a safe way. The reason the gopher tortoise is important for this is because there are a lot of animals that live in these habitats that get stuck in these fires. These fires burn fast and they burn hot, and so they can't get away. If you're a bird, you can just fly away. But if you're a small reptile, an amphibian, an insect, all these things, a small mammal, you can't get away. And so it turns out a safe place to go when you are a gopher tortoise, or when you're one of these animals, is in a gopher tortoise burrow, and they can outlast the fire and then come back out when it's all done. And there have been between 350 and 400 different species of animal that have been found inside gopher tortoise burrows. So that's pretty important. That's a pretty important animal. And so we need our gopher tortoises. They're complete herbivores. So they eat just plants, and they are eating all the time. They would be great cruisers, actually, because my good friend Kevin actually said this one time, and I think it's very appropriate. It's the only animal that he said he had ever seen that would stop running away to eat. They're starting to, they see something that scares them, they're starting to run away, but then they catch a piece of grass that looks really tasty and they stop and they eat it. These animals eat a lot of different types of vegetation, different parts of different plants through different times of the year. Very specific, but very cool animals. And if you're in Florida for a cruise or vacation, or you live here, there are definitely places you can go to see gopher tortoises. Even though they are kind of considered a threatened species, if they are in a habitat that is preserved, they're usually very abundant. And Egmont Key has a bunch of them because in the early 2000s, there was kind of late 90s, early 2000s, there was a respiratory disease that was wiping out tortoises in North America, and gopher tortoise populations they thought were going to be threatened by this. So they took tortoises that were not showing signs of having this respiratory disease, and they put them on Egmont Key where they're isolated so that they'd have a stable population. Well, Egmont Key is the perfect habitat for gopher tortoises, so they've been very prolific there. Turns out that gopher tortoises are not super susceptible to dying from this respiratory ailment. So they're not immune to it completely, but they do pretty well with it. So that ended up not being as bad as we thought it was going to be. But that's why we saw probably 12, 15 gopher tortoises today on the island.
Oh yeah, there were a ton of them.
An hour and a half, and we weren't even actively looking for them. So
here's what I can tell you about gopher tortoises. And I can't find an exact number. So they move really fast.
You think?
I do think, like,
I mean, you could walk them.
Well, absolutely. But like you hear about like the tortoise and the hare and stuff, and like they're moving super duper slow. Oh, these puppies move.
My mom says you mean gopher tortoise. They do move. Yes. The fables are not really accurate.
So I was trying to find an exact speed and I couldn't. So my speed is pretty fast.
Probably about
for a tortoise.
If I had to guess, I'd say about 5 miles per hour.
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed. That's all I've got.
Well, and here's the thing too, because people often ask me that question. Like when I'm doing programs with kids, a lot of times they'll say, how fast is it? Especially like snakes and lizards for some reason. And I always tell them the same thing. Like the species that we have, I'm like, most of these animals you could outrun. Most of the time they're small. They have little legs. But here's the thing. They're going to be able to go through like bushes and plants and get into nooks and crannies that you can't. So it's not always about speed to escape from predators. It's more about agility and being adapted to fit into places that other things can't chase you, to get to you. So speed's not everything,
Yeah.
JT, I had one chase the dog one time. Well, they are harmless to your dog. Now, I will tell you, if you see a gopher tortoise, please do not bother it. Don't try and pick it up. Don't try and pet it. A lot of times they will be okay with you just hanging out, taking pictures. But if you do pick it up or scare it, what they'll do is they will let out a bunch of water. And it is really water. And so the reason you want to do that is that is a survival strategy that they have. Because typically speaking, if a predator picks something up and a bunch of liquid comes out, they usually will spit it out. The problem is gopher tortoises don't hardly ever drink standing water. Most of the water they have access to is from the food that they eat. So they will store water very well. Their reptiles are good at conserving water. They store that water in their bodies. And if you scare them and they let all that water out, it's like going to somebody on the desert and spilling their canteen. It's just not a nice thing to do. So observe them and don't feed them. Just watch them, take some pictures, some video, give them a name, whatever you want. But
Franklin,
be respectful. Franklin, the gopher tortoise.
All right. Do you have anything else?
I think I'm done.
You ready to wrap it up?
I'm ready to wrap it up. So I'm going to wrap it up because I'm all finished. No, that's bad. That
was real bad.
I'm sorry.
We went way past our time. We had a lot to say.
We did.
All right. Well, on that note, it's time to head for the horizon. And until next time, seize the day.
Have a fantastic week, everybody. Yeah. All right. And we are back to hang out for a few minutes. Thank you, Kenny. And what I thought we would do here.
You want to do this before we say goodbye? Pause.
Oh, you want to do the pause?
Even if people are listening to this, they can't see what you're doing.
If you're listening, you can't see what we're doing. But what I'm doing is demonstrating a little bit of my draw channel. So let me just put my fanciness on there.
Oh, you're putting it up there? Okay.
Just my fancy, a little bit of my fancy. And so you won't be able to see this. So we are going to sign off from the audio version now. We will pause and sign off for the audio version. But come on over to YouTube if you're listening to this in the future and check it out. And don't forget to go check out Draw with Matt. So, all right, pause.
I think that's good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys for hanging out still. I'm going to go ahead and just have a little fun doodling. What should I doodle? Give me something to draw. First thing you say in the chat, I will try and draw no matter what it is, as long as it's not dirty.
And if you guys don't say something, then,
good night, JT.
Then I'm going to choose something.
Okay.
So
all right.
Let's see what happens.
Thank you, Meg, for putting up the link. Yeah, consider going over and subscribing to the channel, trying to get subscribers and people to watch the videos, but also trying to get to 100 so I can change the URL to something that isn't, say, you can
dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, we're going to draw.
Which kind are you going to do?
I'm going to do like a T-Rex. You know what?
Oh, okay.
I want to do it facing the other. Oh, my goodness. That was a lot of mistakes right there. Let's try that again on a new layer underneath. There we go. All right, we're going to do a T-Rex. Wonder if Dan's still in here. I'm going to just kind of do
if he is, I'm very
here.
disappointed that he didn't say dinosaur first.
I know, right? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give him a little uppity tail there. Look at that.
An uppity tail?
Uppity tail. This is the part I always struggle with the T-Rex is like, what are the legs like on this thing?
Well, you could have done any kind of dinosaur, and that's what you picked.
I know. I understand. And the little front arms. This is just my rough draft here. So you can talk if you want. This is your opportunity to talk. I'm going to give him another leg back here because they usually had two legs, I think.
You can talk. This is your opportunity to talk. I'm going to continue to talk so that Kimbra can't actually talk.
I'm going to keep talking. And I had little bitty arms. Go ahead.
I don't actually have anything to say. I was just commenting on the fact that you said you can talk and then you didn't actually stop talking.
Should I make him a mean dinosaur? It looks like kind of
yeah, make him real mean.
Make him a mean dinosaur.
What's he eating? A gnome? I was going to tell you to draw a gnome. So I think you should have him going after a gnome.
You're going to draw a gnome?
Yeah.
Chomsky?
No, just gnome.
Oh. I mean, we could call this guy Gnome Chomsky.
Okay. Chompsky?
See
Gnome Chompsky? Because he's going to chomp a gnome.
All right. I got my roofed. Wasn't talking to you, Reno.
Reno's leaving.
I'm going to...
he's going to grab his loud toy.
All right, here we go. Give him a little bit of a round snout here. Now, I'm going to do some live streams kind of like this on the channel, but I'm also going to have some regular videos and stuff. So a little bit of both there. I just feel like he should have kind of a little mean smile. I don't know why. There we go. I feel like it's very quiet now.
It is. I was actually just thinking, I'm hungry now.
You're hungry? Well, we can think about that after we wrap up here in a minute. Give him some big T-Rex teeth.
Who else is still on here? This says that some people are watching.
Yeah, I think we lost some to Down Under Cruisers, which is good.
Yeah, go over and watch Down Under Cruisers. I mean, also watch Matt draw, but
I mean,
make your choice.
Yeah, I mean, and I definitely, we're going to go watch Down Under Cruisers in 2 minutes or so. Maybe not 2 minutes because that's not realistic, but yeah, there we go. And this is not, by the way, this is, if there's any paleontologists watching, this is not an accurate T-Rex. I know that. Okay, so don't start with me, paleontologist.
Meg said she's still in here.
Meg's still in there. Thank you, Meg. We'll give him some little dinosaur feet.
Your mom is still here.
That doesn't surprise me either. Some little dinosaur claws.
Kevin
He's got more
says-
than 3 toes, but
Kevin said we are watching.
Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Actually, our numbers just went from like 5 to 7, so people are like randomly
All right.
jumping in.
They're like, hey, what's going? This is a cruising channel. What? Why is he drawing a dinosaur for a cruising channel?
Todd's still here.
There we go. All right, and we're gonna give him a little.
Hey, chat, say some things so I have a reason to talk back. Because
Yeah.
I'm not good at like just randomly talking like Matt is. So talk about things that we can
This
talk
is-
about.
My elbow's like in the air trying to make this line, and it's not cooperating. The physics of that is not working for me. That isn't either. Let's spin this around. I've heard art teachers say that everybody has one good like stroke position. What's wrong with your back? You got a divot. There we go. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but
You got a problem with divot
no,
backs?
I don't. I don't at all. All right, we're gonna give him. Let's see, we need to kind of indicate some land here. I think his tail's actually a little bit
Flat.
up in the air. It is kind of flat, yeah, because this part's on the ground. See, that's what's happening here,
Oh, okay.
and then this part is not. So in the past, I have done some drawing channels, and they've been very animal creature focused, and I will definitely draw creatures because that's who I am, but it's this is not a drawing specific channel. It's going to just be an art channel. It's going to be a little different.
And Kevin said, what was the last cruise line you did the TA training for?
There you
Oh,
go.
I haven't done training in such a long time. I need to do them again. I think I finished Royal Caribbean's training like
Looks like he's got a mustache. That's
like
not what I was
almost
going
2
for.
years ago probably, and I haven't done any more trainings. I've got Princess that I want to do soon, and I don't know, I think Princess is probably my next one. I should probably do MSC since we're going on an MSC cruise so that I actually know how to like
Yeah.
promote it.
If you didn't hear this in the beginning, we're looking for people that are knowledgeable, have been on MSC to help us figure it out, because it's a confusing cruise line, I
Yeah.
think.
I know Carnival has put out like some new trainings and stuff, new videos that I should probably do. I think one of them is on the Mardi Gras. So since I've been on that ship, I should probably do the training for it. But that's kind of what's cool about Carnival, and probably the others. I know that they put out like updated trainings and stuff when things happen or change.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently my watch is about to die.
Oh, okay.
It buzzed. It says low power. You have 10% power remaining. Power reserve prolongs battery life. Oh, and it went off. By turning off all features except the time. To exit power reserve, press and hold the side button. Thank you. That is not a gnome. That is not a gnome. Although it's really cute.
There's my rough here. Let me zoom out of that, or not zoom out of it. Lower the opacity, and then I'll see if we can make him a little more detailed. This is the great thing about digital. Mom, check this out. I can zoom in. See that? Make my pencil smaller.
Meg was not here at some point in the beginning of the podcast. Meg, did you hear about our newest cruise? Or were you gone by then? And if so, I will tell you. Oh, she's leaving. Okay. Bye.
Meg's leaving?
Sorry, got a jet. We'll catch the beginning and end later.
No problem.
Sounds good. See you later, Meg. Hey, pup. Come here.
You got to keep talking to people.
Oh, I'm picking up the dog. I'm sorry. Look, Reno. This is you. That looks like an angry Reno.
I mean, he's got to be a little angry. He's staring down a T-Rex.
You'll win, won't you, puppy? You can beat the big bad T-Rex. Oh. Tell the rest of us about the new cruise. Okay. So we're going on the MSC Seashore at the end of August. It's a 7-night cruise. We have a sea day, and then we go to Ocho Rios.
I'm aware of that.
Jamaica. What order does it go in? Do you remember, Matt? You don't know.
I don't know.
I think it goes. Let me see if I can find it. Probably not as quickly as I should. There we go. It's here. So Ocho Rios, Jamaica, then Grand Cayman, then Cozumel, and then a sea day. Then we go to Ocean Cay, and then back to Miami. So, and it's a Saturday to Saturday. So I think on our way back, we might stop. We might take the Miami Trail and either stop at like Shark Valley, or if we don't do that, we might stop at Iguana Land.
Right? Us stop at Iguana Land?
Huh?
I said stop at Iguana Land?
I mean, we did buy a membership.
We did, that's true.
And we haven't been back, which is very sad.
I could really use a dog leg model, Reno, because apparently I don't know what they look like.
Would you like him to?
No, it's okay.
Show you his legs?
I've already committed. That sounded weird too, just so you know.
What's with the paw up in the air? Is he trying to shake?
Yes, he's trying to shake. He's trying to make friends.
But he looks so angry. You can't make friends if you're angry.
Reno, I feel like, would be looking for angry things to make friends with.
I think Reno's going blind and deaf.
I mean, he's an older dog.
He's getting old. I like the way you have him sitting. That's really cute. It's very appropriate with his butt sitting on the ground. Because that's how he sits.
There we go. I should have made the T-Rex with a smaller pencil. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and unshare that. Oh, I just do this.
Yep.
Boop. And then that's weird. That's awkward.
You gonna take it off?
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a draw with Matt, and who knows what kind of things I'll be drawing, but there'll be fun things, funny things, serious things, fancy things, simple things.
You gonna draw my mom?
Things I can't draw very well at all. Things I can draw very well. What?
You didn't catch it?
Am I gonna draw your mom? Oh, because I said fancy things.
You notice all of her answers were like 12 bags, 16 pairs of shoes.
I mean,
that is very my mother. Mom.
And
which is funny because I'm kind of like completely opposite of that.
Which is interesting. You are like your mom in some ways, and you are very different in other ways. So I'm probably the same.
The ways that I'm different are probably similar to my aunt.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Which is funny because when
you got the best of both.
When I was younger, I was like afraid of my aunt because I thought she was mean.
I just gave you a compliment.
I know, But now we like get along and stuff because
she's not mean. I love Marina.
I know. I've learned that she wasn't being mean. That's just the way that she like picks on people.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I thought she was being mean to me.
Yeah. But she was just showing you affection.
Yes.
In the way that she does.
And I'm grown and older and I understand now. So now I like her.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Are you ready to end this thing?
I'm ready to end it. Let's
All
wrap
right.
it up.
Thank you to everyone that held on until the very end. And we are leaving now.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.